Okay, if I'm being asked to simplify an expression with exponents, first thing I want you to notice in this problem is there are no pluses or minuses. No pluses, no minuses. And so um, there's not going to be any pluses or minuses in the answer. So first thing I notice is this is to the fifth power. There's a couple ways to handle that. If there's no pluses or minuses, it's fine to take both of those things to the fifth power because this just means I'm taking 2b and multiplying it by itself 5 times. Same with this second one over here. Everything in these parentheses is being taken times itself twice. So I'll put 3k squared times 3k squared. Now, normally I probably wouldn't do all this work, and I'll show you the shortcut later, but I just want to show you where this is coming from. This is the same thing as me just saying 7 times 2 times b times 2 times b times 2 times b, and so on. I just don't write all those timeses because it's a pain in the keister. But this is exactly what it means. There's no pluses. Notice that there's no pluses. There was no pluses to begin with. This is a multiplication problem. And so now it's like a, if I had this in my hands as a deck of cards, I see I have 2 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how I could have just taken that 2 to the 5th, right, like that? I also have b to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could have just taken that shortcut, 2 to the 5th, b to the 5th. But I want to show you where that was coming from. And then I have 3 to the 2nd. Again, shortcut right there. And I have a k squared and another k squared. I'm just going to write that as k to the 4th. Again, I could have done at the beginning, I could have just went right from this to this. But I wanted to show you where this was coming from here. Now I can just simplify it by taking 7 times 2 to the 5th. You might have to work out, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. 3 squared is 9. B to the 5th, k to the 4th, nothing I can do there. And then once you get to this point, you could probably just pull out a calculator, or if you want, you can just multiply it, on the side of your page or whatever. So I'll just do that over here. 63 times 32. Again, 7 times 9 is 63, so I'm using that, times 32. 2016, b to the 5th, k to the 4th. That's my final answer. So again, I could have just started that problem off by distributing in, or it's not distributing in, by taking both of these factors to the 5th power, by taking both of these factors to the 2nd power. All right, on to the next one. So this one's a division problem as opposed to the multiplication problem we had in the previous problem. I'm going to do the same sort of thing here where I show you how I will work this out. And how I would think about it in my head. So first of all, x squared is just x times x, y cubed is y times y times y. Now again, I don't necessarily always write this down, but I'm doing this to show you where my answer is coming from. This we just talked about, okay? I can think of that as 2 to the 3rd and x to the 3rd. 2 to the 3rd is 8, x to the 3rd. I'm just going to write all those out, and then I still have that y there. No matter how you get there, when you get to this point, now I'm just going to look at these kind of separately. 6 over 8. I know that 2 goes into both of those, so I'm just going to simplify that. 6/8 is the same as 3/4. X over x is 1. X over x is 1. Y over y is 1. And now it becomes a multiplication problem. I have 3 times 1 times 1 times y times y, 3y squared. And down here I have 4 times x, and there's my answer.